Judge, I'm here. My name's Scott Toth.
All right. Do you have video by chance, Mr. Toth?
For some reason, my video is not.
Not working?
It's,
All right. Is your client Mary Jackson here?
she's with me in my conference room, Your Honor, in Olathe. She's sitting right next to me.
Well, I'd sure like to be able to see if at all possible.
Yeah. Let me see. There we go.
There you are. Magic. Okay. We'll be on the record now in 2023 CR 191, State of Kansas versus Mary Catherine Jackson. Please announce appearances.
Please the court. This state appears by Jill Gillette, County Attorney.
Good afternoon, Your Honor, and may it please the court, the defendant Mary Jackson appears by Zoom video, along with her attorney Scott Toth, also appearing by Zoom video.
Thank you, Mr. Toth. This is Miss Jackson's first appearance. Miss Jackson, as your attorney has undoubtedly gone over with you, count one is alleging burglary of a dwelling to commit either a felony, a theft, or sexually motivated crime. And based on count two, it looks like the focus would be on theft. The charge reads in count one that on or about the 17th day of July, 2023 in Greenwood County, you did knowingly, feloniously enter into a dwelling with an intent to commit a theft at the residence of 601 South 3rd, Madison, Kansas. And as a level 7 person felony, if convicted and depending on your criminal history, you could be ordered to serve anywhere from 11 to 34 months in prison and given a fine up to $100,000. In count two, you're accused of theft on that date of July 17, 2023. Theft of a credit card, medicine, cologne, a 9mm Luger handgun, property of a Scott Noose taken without his permission and with the intent to permanently deprive him of the owner, with the value of these items being under $1,500. As a Class A non-person misdemeanor, if convicted, you could serve up to a year in the county jail and pay a fine up to $2,500. As these involve a felony, we will set yours for preliminary hearing. And do you expect an evidentiary, or maybe it's too early to tell? Do you want me to set this for an evidentiary hearing or for a preliminary hearing control? That is a status.
Right. If we could do a status, Your Honor, and I know that your clerk had mentioned that December 22nd at 1:30 date, that would give me ample opportunity to get with Ms. Gillette and kind of see what kind of progress we're going to be making.
Ms. Gillette, is that all right with you?
Yes, it is, Your Honor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Then this matter is set for preliminary hearing control, December 22nd at 1:30.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, you're welcome. Is there anything else we need to take up on this matter?
No, ma'am.
All right, then the defendant will be continued on her bond with the added condition to appear December 22nd at 1:30.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Being nothing further, we'll be in recess. Ms. Jackson and counsel are excused.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Now, the young lady at the county jail, your name, please.
Charlene Lockamy.
Charlene Lockamy. We are on the record in 2023 CR 227, State of Kansas versus Charlene Elizabeth Lockamy. Greenwood County Attorney Jill Gillette for the state. Ms. Lockamy appearing in person and pro se. Ms. Lockamy, you are here for first appearance
Yes.
on count one. You are accused of unlawful possession of the controlled substance methamphetamine and/or MDMA. This is, as charged, a level 5 drug felony If convicted, depending upon your criminal history, if any, you could serve anywhere from 10 to 42 months in prison and pay a fine up to $100,000. On count 2, you're accused of carrying a criminal weapon that is brass knuckles. As charged, this is a Class A non-person misdemeanor. That means if you were to be convicted, you could pay a fine up to $2,500, and you could serve a sentence up to 1 year in the county jail. In count 3, you're accused of unlawful possession of the controlled substance marijuana and/or THC, its active ingredient, a Class B non-person misdemeanor. As charged, that means you could serve up to 6 months in the county jail and pay a $1,000 fine if convicted. And then in count 4, you are accused of unlawful possession of containers, keychain with compartment, and tinfoil for the purpose of introducing a controlled substance into the human body. This is charged also as a B non-person misdemeanor. If convicted, you could serve up to 6 months in the county jail and pay a $1,000 fine. All of these counts are alleged to have happened October 7th, 2023 in Greenwood County. Are you going to hire an attorney or apply for court appointed?
I'm gonna apply for a court appointed.
Are you working at this time, Ms. Lockamy?
I'm sorry.
Are you working? That is, do you have a job?
I'm supposed to start on the 13th at my new job.
How long have you been unemployed?
I've been a stay-at-home mother for about 7 years now. All
Okay.
my kids are just now old enough.
All right. And do you have any financial resources at all? Bank accounts, certificates of deposit, anything that could help you hire an attorney?
Not at the moment, no.
All right. I will. And are you married or single?
I'm single.
Okay.
I have
I
a
will-
partner, but we're not married. Not
All
legal.
right. I will appoint an attorney to represent you. My assistant Missy can tell you by the end of the week who that will be and how to get a hold of that attorney. I will set this hearing for what's called a preliminary hearing control, and Missy will give us the date.
December 22nd at 1:30.
You'll need to be back here by Zoom, December 22nd at 1:30, and you must contact your attorney before that date.
Okay.
Well, advance, don't wait till the last day or the last week like so many do.
Okay.
If you're going to have a meaningful representation, they need to be able to talk to you about your case. Let's see, bond, what's your bond set at? Deputy, do you have a bond in front of you?
Just a second, Judge.
I believe it's 10,000. But I can't even.
Where do you live?
I live in Burlington.
Burlington. How long have you lived in Burlington?
I'm going on 3 years now.
And you said you lived there with a partner.
Yes.
How long has your partner lived at that address?
His dad has lived out there most of his life.
Okay, so your partner lives on property that the dad does the dad own it or?
Yes, his dad owns the property.
Okay. And does your partner have employment somewhere in the Burlington area?
My partner drives trucks for, he's a he runs his own semi company. He runs grain throughout the Kansas area.
And is your partner the father of the children?
Not biological, but he's raised them with me.
How long have you been together?
10 years.
And where's the job you're starting?
Pete's, it's in Burlington as well.
Okay. All right, Deputy, did you find that?
Yes, ma'am, it's 10,000.
Okay, 10,000 and you can't afford that. Ms.
I
Gillette, Have you anything to say about bonds?
She's had several cases out of Sedgwick County. She has had failure to appear out of Mulvane City Court.
That was when I was moving I was living in West Virginia at the time. I was having an issue getting back and forth, but right now I live in Kansas, in Burlington, and I start my job at Pete's on the 13th.
Okay, let's let
Yeah.
Mr. Lett finish.
Oh,
She also
sorry.
got stopped March 21st of 23 and got local charges with Burlington on a failure to appear warrant also. So she's had some failure to appear arrests. I would prefer that she have a cash surety bond. That way there's a bondsman that will ensure she comes to court.
If I reduce your bond to 5,000, is that going to help you, Miss Lockamy?
How much is that bond for bondsman? 5,000.
10%.
500. No, not really. I don't have any money right now. I don't even start my job until the 13th. And I can't lose this job.
Well, why did you have those failures to appear in your other cases?
My last one, I was in the process of still moving all of my stuff back from West Virginia, and I did miss that court date because of that. The one in Sedgwick, I went to the walk-in docket and I made it to that one. But other than that, I've been trying to make sure I've gone to every one of them. And again, it was only because I was trying to get my things from West Virginia and I got stuck because we got into a car accident in West Virginia.
So you've been trying to get to Burlington from West Virginia for 3 years now?
No. That was the one. It was the one in Burlington that I missed. And it was due to moving. I was still currently in the process of moving all of my things back to Burlington. We
So
were
what
still
does
in the,
that mean? How do you get charges in the process of moving?
I was driving a truck that I didn't realize the tags weren't any good. And my mother was with me. She has health issues of her own. So she wasn't able to drive. But when we moved into this place, I had to go to Emporia with my mother, and then we went back and then went to West Virginia about a week or so later. It was a process. I don't know how to explain other than I was trying to move all of my things and I couldn't afford to do it all at one time.
I see.
And we got into a car accident in West Virginia that also prolonged me coming home that week. The week that I was supposed to.
Okay. How old are your children?
My youngest is 10, 12, 14, and 16.
10, 12, 14, and 16. You've been unemployed for, you said at least 7 years.
Yes, ma'am. Between all the travel that my partner has done, and 2 of them are my stepchildren, 2 of them are my children.
Okay.
He does a lot of the traveling, so I stay at home with the kids because it was better than paying for the daycare. We couldn't afford it.
Understood.
Plus,
Okay. All right. Well, you are looking at a felony drug possession charge, a misdemeanor drug possession charge, misdemeanor paraphernalia charge, and a brass knuckle charge. So it could be sand club, knuckles, or throwing star, but I think the charge specifically said brass knuckles. So I think a $5,000 bond is certainly reasonable. I will reduce it to 5,000 cash or professional surety. Talk to your attorney. If they think they have grounds to bring a motion before the court to reduce it, I can look at it again. But right now, I think that the bond 5,000 is about as low as I'll go for it. If there's nothing further, we'll be in recess at this time. You may go, Ms. Lockamy.
thank you.
You're welcome. Jake Woods, let's take up your case. What have you got going on there, Mr. Woods?
Yes, ma'am.
Was that a pipe?
So, oh,
Was that a pipe you were cleaning? What were you up to there?
I was
I'm sorry, I can't understand you.
cleaning my fingernails. Sorry.
Oh, your fingernails.
Uh, I was cleaning my finger. Can you hear me now?
Okay, I just want to make sure you didn't have some kind of pipe or contraband there.
No.
All right, so
so
let's
if
let's take your hat off for court and let's talk about your charges. In
Okay.
count one, we're here on 2023 TR 1019, State of Kansas versus Jacob M. Woods, Greenwood County Attorney Jill Gillette for the state, Mr. Woods in person and pro se. Mr. Woods, on count one, you're accused of operating or being a passenger in a vehicle September 13th, 2023 in Greenwood County, Kansas without a seatbelt. This is a $30 fine, no jail time. On count two, you're charged with driving while your license was canceled, suspended, or revoked. This would be a B non-person misdemeanor. Your fine would have to be at least $100, but it could be up to $1,000. And your jail sentence could be up to 6 months. You do have the right to an attorney. You can hire an attorney, apply for court-appointed attorney, or waive your right to attorney and represent yourself. Ms. Gillette does have a diversion program. I have no idea if you would be eligible for that. She looks at the present charges generally and your history of charges and convictions, as I understand it. You have to qualify for that, and if you're accepted, you can.
He has Class A CDL.
I'm sorry?
He has a Class A CDL.
Oh, he has a CDL. All right, can't give diversion according to the federal government on CDLs. So are you going to hire an attorney, apply for court appointed, or represent yourself, Mr. Woods?
I'm guessing I'm going to hire one.
You're going to hire one and you have the means to do that. Do you know who you're going to hire?
I do not at this time. I didn't realize this was. I figured this was kind of a pay a fine, get my license back type of deal.
Well, your license allegedly was suspended before this happened. So you'll need to find out whether it was or not.
So
And you can do that through the.
it was. I'm.
All right, so you're going to hire an attorney. Do you know, you said you don't know who you're going to hire. And Missy,
yeah.
when are we going to set this over for?
December 8th at 9.
You'll need to be back here with your attorney by Zoom, December 8th at 9 a.m. The
Okay.
bond has been set. I will continue the bond with the condition that you and your attorney appear December 8th at 9 a.m. Is there anything else we need to address, Ms. Gillette?
No hat next time in court, please.
Right, I told him to take it off, but he didn't listen to me. Folks, you are in court. When you come to court, you need to present as you would in court. All right. Mr. Woods, anything further before I let you go?
I just curious as to how to proceed. Just call a lawyer and go with whatever they want to do, or
Well, if you're going to hire an attorney, you will need to start by calling them and talking to them about that, and then go from there on whatever advice you wish to follow.
okay. So I was given this from the Kansas state, or from the state of Kansas director of vehicles medical deal. My license was suspended because I was in an accident.
All right, sir, your attorney's probably going to want to have you talk to him or her first before you say a whole
Okay.
lot about your case.
Okay.
Yeah, you may have some defenses, I don't know, but if you're going to hire an attorney, it's probably a good idea to wait and follow his or her
I
direction.
can do that.
All right. All right, then you may go, but please make sure you have a little better connection.
Okay.
next time.
Okay.
You can always come to the courthouse if you wish.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Woods. You're excused at this time. The gentleman at the county jail, what is your name, please? Didn't hear you. Got a problem with your audio. Deputy, could you help him? I can't hear him.
You have to push the button on the microphone itself.
Milo C. Benson.
Milo Betts? Okay, thank you.
Benson,
Oh, Benson, I sure didn't hear that right.
23 CR 146, Judge.
Thank you. We are on the record in 2023 CR 146, State of Kansas versus Milo Christopher Benson, Greenwood County Attorney Jill Gillette for the state. Mr. Benson appearing in person, in custody and pro se. Mr. Benson, in count one, you are accused of on February 24th, 2023 in Greenwood County, Kansas, committing the crime of burglary by entering into a dwelling of Virgil Coop at 308 Lincoln Street, Virgil, Kansas, with the intent to commit a felony, a theft, or sexually motivated crime. As charged, this is a level 7 person. It says non-person, but being a burglary, it would be. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. It is alleged it is not a dwelling. A building at that address belonging to Mr. Coop, but not a dwelling. That makes this a level 7 non-person felony. If convicted, you could be ordered to serve anywhere from 11 to 34 months in prison and pay a fine up to $100,000. In count 2, you're accused of theft.
I believe it was a class A
That is
misdemeanor.
unlawful. Excuse me, that is, you're accused of unlawfully and knowingly obtaining or exerting unauthorized control over property with the intent to permanently deprive the owner, Kelly Sage, of that property. I don't see what property that was, but some type of property belonging to Kelly Sage. And this is filed as a Class A non-person misdemeanor. If convicted, you could serve up to a year in the county jail and pay a $2,500 fine. Any questions about what you're accused of or the possible penalties?
No, Your Honor.
And are you going to hire an attorney or apply for court appointed?
I'll probably hire one.
All right, if you need to apply for court appointed, make sure you get an application turned in well before your next court date.
Can you go ahead and just appoint me an attorney for now? Just in case I
If you
can't get.
qualify, I can, yes, sir. Where do you
All right.
work?
I'm self-employed. I have been for like 10 years.
What kind of work do you do?
I do small engine repair, and I also run a kennel of AKC registered Australian Shepherd dogs.
All right, how much between those two jobs do you make per month?
Right now it's been slow. I was getting ready to go back out to Tyson for the winter because it's slow time of the year for my job.
Okay. Small engine work?
Yes.
I suppose if there aren't as many lawnmowers to repair, that would make sense.
Yeah, so I usually go in for about 4 or 5 months in the winter.
All right, and what do you make per month?
Right now, I ain't making nothing. I've been in jail for the last 2 months over in Lyon County.
I see. All right, I will appoint an attorney. My assistant Missy will have to tell you by the end of the week who that is. We'll give you a court date. Missy, when will that be?
December 22nd at 1:30.
You and your attorney need to be back here by Zoom, December 22nd at 1:30. So make sure you call back here and find out who your attorney is by the end of the week. So
Your Honor, is there any way I can get a bond reduction or OR bond? I have no failure to appears. I've always made my court dates. Even here, I've been released off my probation early from you guys. I've paid all my fines in time. I have my own residence. I've been there for 7 years in Emporia, and I have a friend in the courtroom right now who would let me reside with her for a little while until we could get this taken care of.
your friend lives in Emporia as well.
No, she lives in Hamilton. She's sitting in the courtroom, and
What's her name?
Kimberly Benson, and she would be here to help me make sure I make my court appointments and everything. I haven't had no cases. I ain't on no probation, no nothing. I've maintained pretty well the last 7 years on my own.
Is
And
it a coincidence she has the same last name as you, or are you related?
she was married to my brother, but I've known her for 32 years.
I see. Miss Gillette?
Her name is
Mr.
Kimberly.
Benson,
Yes.
Mr. Benson has an extensive criminal history going way back to the 90s. He has current charges in Lyon County.
And they just
And
alarmed me
Bridge.
on them.
Okay, let's let Miss Gillette talk without interruption, please.
Sorry.
He has current charges in Greenwood and Lyon County, add new charges up there. He does have failures to appear in 2009 in Augusta. He has had his Greenwood County cases in 2021. And before that, 2019 in Wilson County. And he's had some traffic stuff is here as well, looking at his history. His last failure to appear was in Lyon County, and it was in July 19th of 2021 that he was arrested on. So he does have a history of failures to appear.
His bond- What's his bond set? at?
He also had a failure to appear in Emporia Municipal Court, October 26th of 2022, and July 28th of 2022, and September 23rd of 2022, and October 26th of 2022. So he does have a history of failures to appear. And I would prefer that he have a bondsman on his case so that we make sure that he comes back to court.
What's your bond set at now? 75?
6,000, Your Honor. And all them
6,000.
cases have been, I've done my time on every one of them cases. I've rectified, I've been in treatment. I just put myself through treatment in January. I got out February up at New Chance in Dodge City. I've been trying to do good. Yeah, I have a prior record, but for the most part, I've been trying to change my life.
And you said you just
He
got
has-
out of jail somewhere for two months?
Yeah, I was in
His
Lyon
line-
County, and all my charges are done except for a drug case there.
All right, let's let Miss Gillette talk. You were
Yeah,
trying
his
to.
most recent arrest in Lyon County included possession of methamphetamine.
Yeah, I've been battling that for 7 years, and I'm trying to get a handle on it. And they OR'd me on that charge, Your Honor. I haven't been a problem, really. They know I'm trying to get back up to treatment.
Well, 6,000 is a little lower than what I was going to go with, so I'm gonna leave it at 6,000 cash or surety, considering the seriousness of the burglary charge and the number of charges in your history, as well as the numbers of failure to appear. But do contact your attorney, or we'll let the attorney know that you're in jail, but make sure you get a hold of your attorney before that next court date.
Can you half that bond, Your Honor?
What's that?
Can you half that bond of 3?
No, not at this time.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. We'll be in recess on Benson. Mr. Benson is excused from these proceedings. All right, which one is he, Missy? What number? Okay.
I just felt, okay.
The spelling is a little different. It's like maybe French. Is that what that is?
French Belgian.
Okay. We're on the record in 2023 CR 201, State of Kansas versus Drew Allen Hallow. County Attorney Jill Gillette for the state. Mr. Hallow appears in person, in custody, and pro se. Mr. Hallow, you are charged in count 1 with theft. It is alleged on August 30th, 2023 in Greenwood County. You unlawfully and intentionally obtained or exerted unauthorized control over property or services by deception with the intent to permanently deprive the owner of the possession, use, or benefit of property or services valued at over $1,500 but less than $25,000. It's specifically alleged that you somehow took $3,388.21 from Citizen State Bank Hamilton. As charged, this is a level 9 non-person felony. If convicted, and depending on your criminal history, you could, upon conviction, be ordered to serve 5 to 17 months in prison and pay a fine of up to $100,000. In count 2, you're accused of forgery. On that same date, making, altering, endorsing a written instrument, to wit, a Murphy Agra LLC check in the amount of $3,388.21 in such a manner that it purported to have been made, altered, or endorsed by another person, either real or fictitious. And in this case, it looks like they're saying it was a Catherine Murphy. As a level 8 non-person felony, if you were to be convicted, you could serve 7 to 23 months in prison and a fine up to $100,000. In count 3, it is alleged by the state that on that same date of August 30th, 2023, you unlawfully and intentionally issued or distributed a written instrument knowing it had been made, altered, endorsed, that is a Murphy Ag LLC check in that same amount, $3,688.21. All right, so it looks like all 3 of these first charges have something to do with that check. And then you have count 4, theft. Theft by deception with the intent to permanently deprive the owners of that amount, Citizen State Bank. So it looks like you have 4 charges centering around August 30th, 2023, and a check of $3,688.21. So looks like there's several different legal theories around that check that could be any of these charges that I've just gone over with you. And do you intend to have an attorney? That is, hire an attorney or apply for court appointed, Mr. Hallow?
As of right now, I do not have an attorney, and I'm representing myself in pro se.
Well, we don't usually suggest that on felonies, especially 4 felonies. Do you want to apply for court appointed?
I will if I get a form.
All right, so you don't want me to just ask you about it now? You'd rather fill out an application?
I mean, it would speed the process along if I just did it now, right?
Probably. Are you employed at this time?
Not currently, no, not through any
Okay.
corporation, just contract work,
All right, you do some contract work. What kind of contract work?
construction, landscaping, stuff like that.
Okay. And how much per month do you make doing that?
Anywhere from 500 to 1,000,
Okay, and are you married or single?
single.
And do you have any money saving certificates of deposit, anything like that?
No.
Okay, I'm going to appoint an attorney, and Missy, my assistant, can tell you by Friday who that will be. So make sure you get back with her if you don't hear from her, because I want you and your attorney to have talked about these charges by your next court date. Missy, when's his next court date?
December 22nd at 1:30.
You'll need to be back here with your attorney by Zoom, December 22nd at 1:30. So we've talked about your charges, your attorney, court date, and what's your bond set at?
25,000, I believe.
And where do you live?
Where you live?
Wichita.
How long have you been at the address that you're at now?
A year or so on and off. It's my mother's address.
Okay, so you live with your mother off and on?
Yeah.
Ms. Gillette, what have you to say about bond?
Judge, this defendant has a 39-page criminal history. From possession of drugs to multiple other things. He's been kind of around quite a bit on different cases. His most recent arrest being over in Butler County, but he has numerous between Sedgwick, Wichita, Valley Center, kind of a little bit all over Wichita Municipal, Newton. My only big concern is he's also been in the state of Arizona. So my biggest concern is making sure he gets over here for all of his hearing dates. I would prefer a cash surety bond. Just because he's had quite a bit of history. And
All right, I'm going to leave your bond at 25,000, but if you get a hold of your attorney and the attorney wants to file a motion to revisit that, we certainly can. So if there's nothing further, we will be in recess. Missy, try to get him his attorney as soon as you can. I know you will. All right, you may go, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Austin Martinez will be on the record in 2023 TR 983, State of Kansas versus Austin Davis Martinez. Jill Gillette for the county attorney. Jill Gillette, county attorney for the state. And Mr. Martinez appears in person and pro se. Mr. Martinez, you're here on one count of speeding in a construction zone, that is 68 and a 50-mile-per-hour construction zone. The bond in that charge is normally $93, but doubled is $186 plus $108 for court costs, totaling $294. The fact that you're here tells me maybe you want a bench trial, is that right?
Can you inform me on what a bench trial is?
It's just a trial in front of the judge.
Yeah, I was just hoping to plead not guilty and maybe just get things lowered and do my due diligence. I don't know too much about the whole system here, so.
Okay, well, Missy, let's start by giving him a court date. A trial date.
You're gonna have to go to December 22nd at 11.
All right, December 22nd at 11 is your trial date. Be back here by Zoom, December 22nd at 11. You can hire an attorney. I can't appoint one though, because there's no jail time connected to this. And as far as any other options, you'd have to call the county attorney's office at 620-583-8171.
Would you be willing to repeat that for me? I'm sorry.
Certainly, it's 620-583-8171.
Okay. And then, in your experience, I mean, do I have any chance of this being lowered, or do I just bite the bullet? I mean, I've learned my lesson from it. I'm just trying to put my best foot forward and not have it
Well,
on my
yeah.
record.
The only thing I can do is try your case and see if you're guilty or not guilty, but Ms. Gillette has some other options, so call her.
Okay.
She can answer
I
this.
don't. Okay, I don't qualify for the diversion if that's what you're referring to, because I do have a CDL,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Oh, okay. Well, if you want to try to talk to her about any other options, she'd be the one to do that. She or her assistant, Paul Dean. But if you call their number, they can answer those questions.
Okay, thank you.
I'm
And then
trying
one
to
last
put you off.
question.
I'm just legally, they're the ones at this point that have the control over those kind of things. I get it if it comes to trial, she gets it otherwise.
Okay, I understand. And then if, say I just paid it between now and December 22nd at 11, it's just over with, and that's where it's at.
Right.
Alrighty. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir. We'll be in recess.
Thank you. Am I dismissed? I'm sorry.
You are, sir. Yes.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. Okay. Who do we have there at the courthouse? Is there that one we did. Anyone at the courthouse that has a hearing you want me to call? I see some folks sitting there. Is Michael Bennett there?
I don't know if they're on.
Is that Michael Bennett with the beard? If you'll come on up, are you Michael Bennett?
Yeah.
All right, let's call your case then. We're on the record in 2023 CR 218, State of Kansas versus Michael Denver Bennett, Jill Gillette, County Attorney for the state. Mr. Bennett, in person and pro se. Mr. Bennett, and count, let me make sure that this is, well, I think this is your first appearance. Let's double check. Yes. Mr. Bennett, in count one, you are accused by the state of having on the 10th day of September 2023 in Greenwood County, Kansas, unlawfully and intentionally threatening to commit violence, communicated with intent to place another in fear, to wit, a Tony DeShane. This is a level 9 person felony. If convicted, you could serve 5 to 17 months in prison and pay a $100,000 fine. In count 2, you're accused of committing disorderly conduct on that same date, unlawfully and knowingly using fighting words or engaging in noisy conduct, tending reasonably to arouse alarm, anger, or resentment in others. As charged, this is a Class C person misdemeanor. If convicted, you could serve 30 days up 30 days in jail and pay a fine up to $500. In count 3, you're accused of criminal damage to property. You're accused specifically of, by means other than fire explosive, damaging, destroying, defacing, or substantially impairing the use of a sliding door in which Tony DeShane has an interest. As a Class B non-person misdemeanor, if convicted, you could pay a fine up to $1,000 and you could serve up to 6 months in the county jail. As one of these charges is a felony, we will set this for preliminary hearing. And do you intend to hire an attorney or apply for court appointed?
Can I get that court appointed, please?
All right, and do you have any cases with attorneys pending?
I don't think so.
All right, are you employed at this time?
No, ma'am.
How long have you been unemployed?
A year, I think.
Didn't you tell me that you work at Benny's in the kitchen? Didn't you tell me that in the case that you had in front of me just the other day?
Well, I go in and help and grab some food once in a while, but I'm not on the payroll or none.
Okay. And I thought that's why I gave you permission to be there, is because you were employed by them. Aren't you on probation right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, if you're not employed there, I don't know that you have any reason to be there, but that's for another date and time. You've been unemployed for a year now?
Something like that.
All right. Who supports you then? How do you live?
I'd be staying with friends. And
I'm going to appoint an attorney. Check back with my assistant Missy this week to find out who that will be. Make sure you have contact. Yes, Ms. Gillette.
He has had some recent attorneys. There's been a 2023 traffic case. There was a 2020 CR criminal case, and he's had Mr. Paw in another case recently.
Okay, let's see if Richard Paul can take that case so we can be consistent. I'm going to appoint Richard Paul unless for some reason he can't take that case. Mr. Bennett, you know how to get a hold of him?
I think so, yeah.
Well, make sure you do, because I expect you to have talked with him before that next court date. Missy, when's his PHC?
December 22nd at 1:30.
All right, be back here by Zoom, December 22nd at 1:30 with Richard Paul. Make sure I can see and hear you. In fact, if you want to come back to the courthouse again, that's certainly fine too. Looks like you're on bond. I'll continue your bond with the condition that you have no contact with this person, Tony, or her property, or her family, no contact directly or indirectly. If there's nothing further, then Ms. Gillette. Okay, we'll be in recess. Mr. Bennett, you're excused. Is that Mr. Shane there in the, no? Is Mr. Shane here in court? No? Okay. I still see two people in court. Any of you have hearings today? What's your name, please?
Michelle Harbor or Michelle Clark.
We're on the record in 2023 CR 222, State of Kansas versus Michelle Rhonda Harbor, County Attorney Jill Gillette for the state, Ms. Harbor in person and pro se. Ms. Harbor, in count one, you are accused of unlawfully distributing a controlled substance within 1,000 feet of a school. That substance being methamphetamine in an amount less than 1 gram, a level 3 drug felony. If convicted, your sentence could be 46 months up to 83 months in prison, and your fine could be up to $300,000. In count two, you're accused of unlawful distribution of the controlled substance while using a communication facility. And that's a level 8 non-person felony. If convicted, your sentence could be 7 months up to 23 months in prison, and your fine could be up to $100,000. In count 3, you're accused of unlawful possession of drug paraphernalia with the intent to distribute. Specifically, you're accused of possessing digital scales with the intent to manufacture, cultivate, plant, propagate, harvest, test, analyze, or distribute the controlled substance, a level 5 drug felony. If convicted, your sentence could be 10 to 42 months and your fine could be up to $100,000. In count 4, you're accused of unlawful possession of the controlled substance marijuana after a prior conviction for the same. This is a Class A non-person misdemeanor. If convicted, you could serve up to a year in the county jail and pay a fine up to $2,500. In count 5, you're accused of unlawful possession of smoking pipes, containers, cut straws, plastic bags, pill bottles as drug paraphernalia, in that you possess them with the intent to store, contain, conceal, inject, ingest, inhale, or otherwise introduce a controlled substance into the human body. As charged, this is a Class B non-person misdemeanor, which means if convicted, you could serve up to 6 months in the county jail. You could pay a fine up to $1,000. So, Ms. Harper, do you have any questions about the charges?
No, ma'am.
All right. And are you going to hire an attorney or apply for court appointed?
I will apply for court appointed right now.
And are you employed?
No, ma'am. I just lost my job not that long ago.
What kind of work did you do?
I took care of an elderly person.
Okay.
Judge, she currently has Mr. Paw in a different case and previously had robbery in the past. Her next court date is October 24th at 3:30 with Mr. Paw on the misdemeanor docket. This one being a felony, she'll have to have a felony PHC, but she's already been qualified for court appointed attorney recently.
All right. And she's not a co-defendant to the gentleman I just gave, Mr. Paul. No, that was a totally different facts pattern. All right, I'm going to reappoint Mr. Paul to this case as well. And Missy, when is her PHC?
December 22nd at 1:30.
You'll need to be back here December 22nd at 1:30 with Mr. Paul. And it looks like you're on bond. I will continue that bond with the conditions that you contact Mr. Paul and reappear here by Zoom for preliminary hearing control, December 22nd at 1:30.
Okay.
Any questions or anything else I can help you with before I let you go, Ms. Harbor?
I don't think so.
All right, you are excused as we are in recess. Anyone else on the docket, Missy?
That's all I have.
All right, if